Welcome to Tech Savvy. My name is Leigh Newman, and I'm the Executive Director of Campus Operations for the LaGrange campus at West Georgia Technical College. And we continue to have all kinds of wonderful things going on and really making a big difference in many of our students' lives. And we like to share all of our good activities and what all we're doing. And today we have our leader, Mr. Steve Daniel. He's our president. And before we get started, Mr. Daniel, I want to tell you thank you so much for your leadership and what you do for us. You're a wonderful support person for all that we're doing, and I think our success is definitely, we can attribute it to you and your leadership. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Leigh. It's hard to believe it's been almost 2 years.
I know it. Isn't it been great?
Time does fly when you have fun, but we have a great team at West Georgia Tech, and I couldn't be more pleased to lead the college. We just have a great story and great students, and some great things are happening. So it's good to be. It's good to be in West Georgia.
Partnerships. That was the first word that came out of your mouth when you came to West Georgia Tech.
Well, I think any institution has to show that they are a good steward in the community, and so one of the ways you do that, obviously, is build strong partnerships. Workforce development. You've heard me say that. Workforce development is our mission. So workforce development is one of those areas that the only way we can accomplish that is to have partnerships with our industry folks, our businesses that hire our graduates. And if we don't have graduates that are qualified to take those jobs for today and tomorrow, communities aren't going to progress. And so we are very blessed in West Georgia to have some wonderful companies and wonderful partners that are coming alongside education, not just in higher education, but also in the K through 12 system to partner with us, and that makes it fun.
Well, we're definitely building a very, very good relationship, favorable relationship with our school system, because there's so much intermingling now with the Move On When Ready, and we've got so many students that are coming from high school and taking college credit, and we're working very closely to make sure that, you know, we've got them in line, like in a pathway, so to speak, that it matches what industry is looking for today.
We're very fortunate in the state of Georgia to have leaders, Governor Deal, Lieutenant Governor Cagle. They have really focused on making that seamless education model for Georgia. Mm-hmm. And we know that in just a few years, the statistics say that 60% or more of the jobs are going to require something beyond high school. And so we have got to be able to satisfy that requirement with additional graduates. And the only way we can really do that is drive back into the high schools and begin to start that process while the students are still in high school. And then, of course, in this case, with the new Move On When Ready legislation, they can even start college courses when they're in the 9th grade. Right. And so that gives us an opportunity to really impact higher education all the way back into the 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th grade. And so, you know, I think the future trend will be more and more students, and we're already seeing this trend we're being up 40% in enrollment in dual enrollment already. I think you're going to see that continue, and I think it'll become more and more the norm that someone will graduate high school with a college credential or even an associate's degree. Mm-hmm. And that's the future. So.
And they'll be ready to hit the ground running when they graduate from high school.
Right. Well, whether it be a job or whether it be them continuing their college career, they've definitely got to jump if they can accomplish that while they're in high school. So that's one of the things that we really take as a strong part of our mission. And again, we're fortunate here with the Think Academy being created and actually in the footprint of our LaGrange campus to have that seamless transition. It truly is seamless because it's literally embedded in the college. And so Dr. Pugh, the Troup County School System, they've been great partners, as well as the College Career Academy Board and Dr. Carlisle with the Think Academy to really work this seamless model. And it's new. I mean, it's new for this community. It's new for our students. It's new for the administration at our college, as well as it's a new dynamic with the Troup County School System. So we've had our growing pains, but by the same token, I think all the partners have done a good job of really getting that message back out to the students and the parents.
I see it as I mean, we're so flexible at this point, because my concern always has been we can teach the students the skills or the basic foundation skills, but we're able now to like work directly with the industry to be prepared for whatever the next step is or whatever the next thing is down the line.
Well, we have, again, with the jobs that are being created, particularly in this West Georgia region, there's a lot of high-tech, high-demand, highly automated positions that are being created. And so if someone doesn't have the skills and they don't come through with the skills, they're not going to be able to compete for those jobs. And so that's, again, back to our mission and back to where we see as a core for our college. And that's why the beauty of this works so well, because we play off the strengths of each of those partners, whether it be K through 12 or whether it be higher ed or whether it be business and industry, to come together to impact the young people for tomorrow.
When you bring up the business and industry side of the partnerships that we have, I think this is a good opportunity to talk about our wonderful board, our local board members, and the ones that represent Troup County and LaGrange. I think that right there is a perfect example of how they have an input into what we're doing. Well,
and let me just clarify that we're structured much like with the technical college system of Georgia. There's 22 technical colleges, and the governing board is the state board of the technical college system. And we have a local board. Each college has a local board that is really the advisory board. That's really the lead advocate in the communities where they serve for that local college. And I will say that one of the joys of my tenure here so far as president has been working with the local board and putting a board together that really is committed to that same mission of workforce development. And they've done a great job. And of course, here locally, actually currently this year, our leader of that board is Tommy Britt from West Georgia Health. And Tommy has done a great job in being that champion for not only that industry, the healthcare industry, but also this community and this campus. And Kevin Thieneman has also joined us as the other representative from Troup County. And Kevin is president of Caterpillar here in LaGrange, right, and for the Forest Products Division. And so he has been a great resource for us in the manufacturing arena and advanced manufacturing. So he's been a great spokesman and ally for that. So, you know, you talk about the caliber of people that come alongside us. We have some great resources, again, through partnerships and through our board, that they are an engaged board. They work hard for the mission of our success, and you know, they're tied to our success, and they realize that. And so we're doing some good things, and I could not say enough about our board. They have achieved the 100% certification, the
Excellent.
Training that has to go. That's again a benchmark for boards like many other boards that serve institutions or organizations, and they've completed that training. So we're 100% certified. I think only about half the colleges have certified boards, and so just very fortunate that we've got that level of support. As a president, it helps so much to lead an institution knowing that you've got those kind of partners there that have your back and that work along beside you. And also obstacles that come up, help us resolve those obstacles that come up.
Well, they have a stake in our, like you said, they have a stake in our success, because like with the healthcare system, they hire our graduates in nursing and radiology, and they need these people, and they need these people trained. And so I think, didn't Tommy come sit in some classes sometimes?
Well, that's one of their requirements for their certification, is actually to observe and sit in and observe a class. And so obviously we try to tailor that or give them the experience in their industry so they can see some of the classes or labs that are taking place that relate to their industry. So I believe Mr. Thieneman, I think he went to the Industrial Systems Lab and participated in that. So that's a good learning experience for them, and it's also good for us to share what we do every day. And I think that is one of those unique partnerships, again, that just continues to grow. Having a strong board is another one of those strategic initiatives that I think any president should have. If you don't have that strong board in place, you can't be effective.
That's very, you got backup from them. Then.
Right.
Well, I agree. I think we're very fortunate with our board, and of course, then you move down to the program level, and we all have advisory boards.
That's right.
All the programs have advisory boards, and that's where the rubber meets the road.
Well, that's the way we stay in tune with what's going on in that particular industry. And another thing that's kind of unique with us, we have each program, as you said, has a advisory committee that meets twice per year. And of course, they stay in contact outside of that through email and whatnot, but they meet twice a year and actually review curriculum, review the details, advise on any changes to curriculum, so that we're very flexible in the delivery. We have to be. You think about technology advancing so fast and so rapidly. If we're not out there doing that, we're going to fall behind with how we're teaching the program or how we're delivering graduates. So.
I think that they've been, when I've been in an advisory board, I think they're most impressed with the way that everybody is hands-on training, and that's technical education by itself.
Right.
Is hands-on training, but they see the students working on equipment that is very similar to what they have on their plant floor, or the dummies that we have in the healthcare industry. I mean, they have babies.
Right.
So it prepares our students for actually not being so surprised when they get on the floor or when they get out into the business, that they've had experience with what could have happened.
Well, and that's why not only that, but also the partnerships we have with all the, for instance, healthcare, all the clinical sites that we have. If we don't get them out in the environment and actually see that environment and participate in that environment, they're missing that. They're not going to be prepared when they graduate. So we definitely do that in the healthcare arena. We're looking more and more at doing that in the advanced manufacturing arena with apprenticeships or internships. We're one of the colleges that's kind of partnering that effort as well. And so the more of those type internships, apprenticeships that we can do, the better prepared our graduates are going to be. So.
Well, that's the key in our success, isn't it?
It is.
Well, Mr. Daniel, we're finished with the first block. We'll come back in a few minutes and we will talk about all kinds of excitement that's going on at the school, okay?
Thank you.
Thank you. And we'll be right back. Welcome back to Tech Savvy. I'm Leigh Newman and I'm with West Georgia Tech, and we're having a very special guest on our episode today. His name is Steve Daniel, and he's the president of West Georgia Tech. Mr. Daniel, in our previous block we were talking about board meetings and things like that, and I think probably about this time of the year is when you give a state of the college. Would you like to give us a rundown on what your report was this year?
Well, sure. Each year we try to, like most organizations, look back on the year, and for us the physical year begins July 1. So being a state agency and a state entity, that's when our year starts. So we wrapped up the year June 30th, and so gave a state of the college that we're looking forward and looking backward, because we're kind of through this year. So last fall I did this for the local board, and but just some of the accomplishments our last year. Of course, we'll soon have another year complete, but the last fiscal year we had a number of benchmarks that we attained. We had number one in GED completions across all 22 colleges. We were number one in that entire system of GED completions, and that's a huge thing for us. I mean, there's 60,000 adults in our West Georgia region that do not have a high school diploma or GED. And so for us to be able to impact that, that's a huge thing for us. It's one of those opportunities where we have to really set the foundation for workforce development, because if someone doesn't at least have that benchmark, they can't continue on in higher ed, they can't continue on to progress to achieve those jobs and those careers. And so they're not even going to get an interview in most cases. So I'm very happy to say that we're, as a higher ed institution, working that gap and being able to impact that. And Karen Kirchler is our Vice President for Adult Education. And she's a superstar in our world, and now others know that. She's just won the national award for National Administrator of the Year by the Commission on Adult and Basic Education, and she's out, matter of fact, this week receiving her award in Dallas.
That is so impressive.
For that award. So to have someone that's achieved that national award shows that the level of recognition that's out there at the national level for some of our efforts. But you know, it gets back to students. It gets back to being able to serve those students and giving them an opportunity for success. And so that's the adult education piece. So being number one in that arena. We also exceeded, each college has a graduation target that they hit as part of Complete College America, Complete College Georgia. So that's one of the benchmarks we look at, and we exceeded, we increased graduation by over 13% last year.
That's impressive.
And our target benchmark is around 7% each year. So that's an increase over our normal graduation rate to account for those additional jobs that are needed with the 60% needing something beyond high school. So that was a huge benchmark for us to exceed. And so again, that was accomplished only with a lot of hard work. It was accomplished with our program leaders, our instructors, our department chairs, our entire academic affairs division, everybody working back with students to make sure that we keep them engaged, we keep them retained as students, and we get them completed. And so that graduation rate I'm very happy with. If you look at our placement rate, it continues to be in the high 90 percentile. You know, our placement rates, we train people for careers that are needed. And so they don't come through West Georgia Tech or any technical college and not have a job opportunity waiting on them. That's what our mission is, again, workforce development, and we're focused on that, and so very pleased with that. And more recently, then one of the things that we've accomplished that I'm very pleased to announce is that we have increased our enrollment this spring semester.
That's unheard of.
So my state of the college really last year was, you know, that was one of our benchmarks. That's what we were really going for. And we're one of 5 colleges across the 22 that are in the state in the technical college system that have actually increased enrollment. And we're up by about 3% this spring as opposed to last spring. And so that's a good trend. That's a good trend for workforce. That's a good trend for students. That's a good trend for our employers.
Normally when unemployment goes down, so does our
That's true.
enrollment.
Normally you would see individuals come back when the economy's bad because they're being retrained or they've been laid off, or it's an opportune time for them to find themselves in a situation where, okay, I'm going to go get a new career, I'm going to advance my skills. And so that's the opportune time for someone to go back. So typically you do see that. If you look at the spike of unemployment, you see a spike of enrollment in particularly 2-year colleges.
That's even saying a lot.
And
that
so
we're increasing even though.
Yeah, and so if you look statewide, I think the trend was across the 22 colleges, they were down about somewhere between 2 and 3% in enrollment, down. We were up 3% in enrollment. So that's good for West Georgia Tech, and again, it's good for all the citizens and all the communities we serve. So again, that happens through partnerships, that happens through network, and in some degree, it truly happened because of the Move On When Ready transition that occurred that really saw us increase dual enrollment opportunities to the tune of now we're about 1,000 of our 6,350 or so students, 1,000 of them are dual enrolled high school students.
I think it's an amazing process.
Yeah,
I do.
And so those are just some of the benchmarks that we mentioned and we talked about. We could go on about, particularly on the LaGrange campus, about the precision manufacturing lab that we're creating. I'm really excited about that as the president to say that we're creating what I hope will be the finest industrial systems lab of its type in the Southeast. We're at the beginning of that stage, but we were very fortunate to get world-class lab funding from the state of Georgia to be able to supplement some equipment and replace some equipment that was much needed in that lab. And so we can now, as we talked about earlier, really have a simulation environment that mirrors the technology that you'd find in advanced manufacturing. So some of the technology we've gotten in there now is really cool. I mean, with the robotics and the automation, I would just encourage anybody that hasn't been out to see that campus to reach out and to come by and see the campus if you haven't been out lately, and particularly look at some of those career options that are so important to employers like Kia and the suppliers and really all the advanced manufacturers that we have in West Georgia and in LaGrange.
We have so many people, I mean companies calling saying, do you have anybody? Are you going to have anybody with these skills that are happening that we're training for? And I wish we had enough to meet the demand, but the supply's not there yet.
Well, and I think we're in a situation where it's a mindset issue of manufacturing that has changed dramatically. What's there now in advanced manufacturing is not the types of jobs that were there 10, 15, 20 years ago. Those jobs are gone and they're not coming back. But what's been replaced are jobs like you find at a Kia or an Interface or Caterpillar that is truly an automated environment that truly has technical skills that are required to be able to succeed in that environment.
And it's high tech and it's clean. Everything is so clean now.
And that's why our lab has to be that way. That's why we have to have the latest robotics, the latest automation to be able to teach those skills. And so we have brought some of those tools to bear. And so I'm very happy to say that we're going to be unique as a college to have that level of advanced manufacturing training and lab space available right here in LaGrange and on our campus. And so that's been an effort that's been going on now for a little over a year, and so it'll continue to be until we get it at the state where we want it, and then it won't be done. We'll continue to replace equipment.
It requires continuous improvement.
And that's where the partnerships come in. We can't rely just on state funding or just on grant funding to be able to continue to upgrade that equipment. We have to have local partners that are willing to step forward and help us with that if we're truly going to stay at that level. But we're going to be one of the few labs of that type that, again, in the Southeast, I think we probably are one of the best in the state with this first wave of expansion, and once we complete it, I hope we'll be the best in the Southeast.
I see it. I can see it in our near future, especially with you behind everything, so that's good. What else do we have going on at West Georgia Tech?
Well, there's a lot of excitement. You think about all the student activities and all the things that are going on there, but from my standpoint, building these partnerships is huge. And in LaGrange, we've been very fortunate recently. The Callaway Foundation came along beside us and gave us a sizable donation to really renovate and do some additional things with the Callaway Center. So we're excited about that, and those are already underway. We're working everything from exterior to interior advancements and upgrades, and we're also doing some things even with signage.
I know, I'm excited about the signs, yeah.
We have the digital sign now, the large sign at the entrance of the campus, and we'll have one that's similar to that or almost identical to that that'll be setting out there in front of the Callaway Center. So that's thanks to their partnership, thanks to their commitment to this.
They understand the importance of our facilities and the future, you know, and how we play a role in the future.
Right.
So it's a good thing.
And we've had great partnerships again. Kia continues to be a huge supporter of what's going on with the Think Academy, and they've recently announced the scholarships for Think graduates that are coming into West Georgia Technical College. So there will be scholarships for our students, as if they're a Think graduate, they qualify based on need or based on merit. There's two avenues, and they range. Those scholarships range anywhere between $500 up to $2,000. And so they're targeting the emphasis for really those advanced manufacturing type careers in those areas, but it's really open to any graduate in any of our programs. So we just encourage any parents and students certainly to investigate that. Hopefully it'll continue to encourage enrollment in Think Academy, because that's just a huge resource for the community. And I think by the same token, it's a huge resource for us, because it'll continue to fill that gap of those skill needs that are out there, and hopefully get more young people interested in those careers, because there's great careers, great paying careers right here with those advanced manufacturing, the advanced manufacturing sector that's really come into here in a big way. And so
continues to come in here.
Yes, it does. And so more jobs are being created, and so again, I think the more people learn about that and learn about where they can go with those career skill sets, I think that's an interesting and bright future for a lot of young people. So just very excited about those scholarships that again they've announced, and so hopefully they'll continue that. There's an expectation that they will, and other companies as well may come to bear on that, and we'll continue to build those scholarships for those type students and well-deserving students. And I think you may reference, but the website is a great resource. If they go to westgatech.edu, and under prospective students, there's a tab for scholarships, and there's an application that they can fill out, and more information about those scholarships listed.
Quite a few scholarships
there are,
available.
and I think many people are amazed at just how many scholarships are out there. And again, that's thanks to our partners that come along and help that. And between what's been happening at the state with Move On When Ready, with the High Demand Career Initiative, with the fact that we now have 100% HOPE grant funding for some of those certificates that are out there in demand. And
there are no barriers.
Well, that's just it. Remove the barriers and remove the excuses that if you're going to have a prepared workforce, we've got to have people enrolling in these programs, and so that's our mission.
Well, I think we're doing a good job with our mission. I really feel like we're on the right track.
I do too, and I think we make an impact. You can measure the impact based on when I hear a workforce skills gap area in our region. That's something like a laser we should be focused on.
Exactly.
And I think many of our people, that's the focus we have. And so I've tried to bring that and instill that since I've come here, is that we have to get in there, understand the need, understand the recruitment strategy, work with our partners, and fill that need. And again, that's why whether it be an industrial development authority or a economic development authority or Chamber of Commerce or any other higher ed partner or any other K through 12 partner, we've got to start continuing to branch out, but we've got to start just building those stronger and stronger to be able to meet that demand for the future.
And always be one step ahead.
Well, that's our goal, and that's why I see these benchmarks as such positive indicators, because it tells us that we are beginning to lead in some of those areas. We continue to work our articulation agreements with our higher ed 4-year institutions, and we continue to announce those. We're going to announce a new one that actually next week I think we'll be signing, and that is our Associates in Nursing program that'll tie into the Bachelor's in Nursing program at the University of West Georgia, because a BSN is actually kind of the standard bearer now for nursing in many of our healthcare facilities. And so we are working more and more of those articulation agreements, and we've had an informal relationship where they've been doing that, but now it's going to be formalized with a signed agreement by the presidents.
That always makes it a little bit more.
And so it's just one more assurance to the students that what they achieve with us can be transferred and articulated into a 4-year institution, like a great institution like the University of West Georgia.
It's great to have partners, good partners. Well, Mr. Daniels, we're done for the day. Can you promise me you'll come back?
My pleasure.
This enthusiasm and excitement and your leadership is so valuable to our success, and we do appreciate all that you do.
Thank you. I'd love to come back.
Thank you, and plan on it.
Thank you.
And and this is the end of the episode for Tech Savvy this time. Look forward to seeing you next time.